I am so excited today to be interviewing our guest, Alex Nottingham. That's funny to say you're the guest, Alex. Alex is the CEO and founder of All Star Dental Academy. I've personally known Alex, for the last 5 years, and I absolutely love his desire for just educating dental offices. And today we're going to talk about stress reduction. And so, welcome, Alex. How are you?
Yeah, it's great to be a guest on my own show.
This is awesome. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. I
So,
hear good reviews of you stewarding the podcast, so that's good.
yes, thank you for allowing me the opportunity, Alex. It's so fun. I've wanted to do this for a long time, and so I'm excited just to pick your brain today.
And we have our matching
Oh,
Yeti mics.
yeah, look at that. Look
And
at
there you
that.
go.
Hey,
Yeah,
yeah.
cool. All right, go ahead. What are we talking
So,
about?
yeah, so stress reduction. So obviously we've been through, 2020 has been the year. It's really hard. I'm a real positive guy, as you know. I like to start my day off positive. I like to, think in terms of positive focus. I tell you what, everywhere you turn, there is a negative just influx of information, and it being a political year and
Yeah.
COVID, and I'm in California, so the fires, could be a hurricane in Florida, and the news is so negative. And so how do we get into this stress reduction talk? How do we get to a place where we're not bringing all of that in our backpacks, right? With these backpacks we walk around with, they're packed with all of our stuff. How do we keep that from showing up when we get to work and get focused on what's important once we're there?
Well, I think the first recognition is it's important. Stress reduction, mindset, these issues. And normally we've been talking about this at All Star, and you have, and in our webinars and all these things, that this is an issue.
Mm.
And we're going to also do another podcast about the whole idea of training. And I think that now it becomes even more apparent how important mindset is, how important your mental health is. When we think of mental health, we think, oh, that's some strange diagnosis. But mental health, physical health, spiritual health.
Yeah.
And those are the three topics that we can quickly discuss. Now, we only have 20 minutes, so we can just kind of go over the general, but this is an area that we need to pay attention to be a well-balanced human being. And I think any successful person needs to be doing these things regardless. Now, with this whole COVID situation, and then toxic political things that are going on politically in terms of, it doesn't matter where you're on the line, but just people aren't respectful of each other. And then you have social media blowing it up and conspiracy and all this stuff, and it gets very agitating.
Yeah.
And gosh, you have to be superhuman for this not to affect you.
Yeah.
So maybe we can look at getting right to some of the topic areas and just kind of compare notes.
Okay.
We did this together with our group coaching. So for our All-Star students, we do a group coaching session every month, and we did a very beautiful session with our clients there,
Yep.
talking about this issue. And so we just want to kind of distill some of the things we talked about on the podcast and share with everybody. So so I have to break it up in threes, right? So mind, body, spirit. So mental health, physical health, spiritual health.
Yep.
So mind. Some things that are very important, and you put one up when we spoke. One was rest that I mentioned, but in addition to rest is sleep.
Yeah.
And this can also go to physical as well. But when you sleep, when you're rested, your mind isn't as what I'm looking for is sensitized, and you can perform better. If your mind is not in the right space, and that can be affected if you're not physically healthy or spiritually healthy or mentally healthy, your mind will break down. We've heard of nervous breakdowns, and that's happening a lot. We're seeing that the prescription for Xanax and anti-anxiety medication is through the roof.
Wow.
Okay. And the other thing too, combine this, that, gosh, I mean, there was this study of some of the most stressful positions, and lawyers were up there and dentists. So it's a very stressful job. The other thing is, as a dentist, you're also an entrepreneur. And whether you realize this or not, you're running a business, you're an entrepreneur. And what I found in a lot of entrepreneurial studies, they're 3+ fold more likely than the average person to experience anxiety and depression. And anxiety, these issues, these breakdowns happen when the mind is sensitized and there's too much going on. And so whether you're dealing with that now or you aren't, you want to take good care. It's like heart disease. Take care of it now because you don't want your mind to break down where you're sensitized, and that's a risk. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I just want to put that out there, that you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And take care of your team, especially in these times. There's very little room for error. So,
yeah.
So that's one.
You know, thinking about dentists specifically, you know, they have the ownership. They have the, I think, more skin in the game. Obviously, they have the highest risk. How do they make sure their team isn't having anxiety, depression, or negativity and that sort of thing? How do they make sure their mind is right? How do they check in?
So number one, it starts with you. And we've been doing this, you know, I'm a coach, you're a coach, and you know, it all starts with a leader.
Yeah.
It all starts with, are you doing the things to get you in the right state? This is also the science of emotional intelligence. If you can master your emotions, you can then help with others. So you have to get yourself straight first. Second is, listen, you spend most of your time with your family at the office and even at home. And so it is kind of a work family. And so it's important to invest in them, take care of them. How do you do it? Be a positive example, provide them resources. In Europe, when employees are stressed, their employers, we have a European and a Canadian in our mastermind group, they will send that person to a spa for 2 weeks. So what can you do with your employees? Monitor their health. Yeah. Talk to them, get them help if they need help. Some help if they're dealing with anxiety. Therapy is wonderful. It's talk therapy, medication certainly if needed, but therapy is a great thing. Look, a lot of our coaches, yourself included, you're a great mindset coach as well. That working with a coach can just having that camaraderie of somebody who helps a lot. Talking to people, getting involved in your church or synagogue or mosque or whatever it is. And having community is very important. And that extends to so what you do, get yourself right, but also you can provide resources, listen to your team, if they're burnt out, give them rest, give them a break, send them to somewhere, send them to a spa to get a massage or something, just to understand. And empathy is important. Empathy, that you know what they're going through is very important. And so those are some things you can do with your office.
I noticed when we were in the shutdown period, we were meeting more regularly, and we were saying, hey, look, when you guys come back, there's going to be this influx of supply and demand. It's going to be overwhelming. Yeah. And I remember saying to them, look, you've been out 8 weeks, 9 weeks. You do not want to operate at 5 days a week on screech for 8 or 9 weeks. You're going to be so burnt out. You got to go for 4 to 6 weeks. We were comparing that to how much triple P money they were going to have left, right? You know, you're going to go really hard, work overtime for 4 or 5 weeks, and then that's it. Well, some of these offices, what I'm finding out later on is they kept going.
Keep going, yeah.
They kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and now they're at this burnt out place.
You know, I talked to an old college professor the other day. He's retired now, and there's something I'll tell you what his advice was. It's a beautiful mantra that can help with this. And something that I admire about you, Eric, we were talking before, and I share similar philosophy, that there is, well, actually, before I get to that, let me give you the mantra, and then we'll explain it. You breathe in, I am. You breathe out, enough. I am enough. And I think we are all about more in society and just in general. And we operate from fear that if I don't get it now, I'll never get it. And my father's dentist, he operated by fear. Dentists are very easy to manipulate using that way. You and I have made it our mission to help dentists not be taken advantage of. You lead a very well-known company, notorious too, and because of your principles, and All-Star was a great fit for you. but I'm enough. And I think both of us share that it's enough. We don't need, we got a house, we got a car, we have this, and we're making money. Listen, it's good to make more money, but I believe, and I think you would agree, I'm not going to make more money and sacrifice my health. I'm not sacrificing my mental, my physical, or my spiritual health for money.
Yeah.
I love money. Green stuff is nice, but it must align with the other three.
That's good.
Okay. And I think the same thing is here. If it's touching mental, physical, or spiritual health, no, that is, you are settling, and that's not okay.
So you really need to know what is enough. You need to define that then, because that goes into your definition of success. Sometimes dentists in general will just push.
No, it's simple. What's enough? Get as much as you like, as long as it doesn't interfere with your mental, physical. It's like you do your work, you play hard, and you rest. You know, and you work hard. So you can work hard. It's great to work hard, but you got to know, as long as it doesn't interfere with the other three, which are primary, I believe. Because if you know, there's some great quotes that, like, I don't know, Dalai Lama said something about, man works so hard to make money, and he'll sacrifice his health. But then once you're sick, money won't fix that. Then you spend all your money to try to fix that issue. Yeah. So do it right the first time. And so just a few other things. I mean, meditation is good to do. We're not going to go into detail. And that's not, and as you know, meditation's mainstream now. It's not religious. It's just mindfulness, being aware. That's very important. Now with physical health, and this is also with mind as well, is nutrition, diet, exercise. Yep. Okay. You want to, in terms of what's happening with COVID and all that, you certainly want to maintain a healthy weight. Make sure you're not in any comorbidities. Take a lot of what I hear is vitamin C, vitamin D is helpful and protective against COVID. But certainly the healthier your immune system, the number one thing is your immune system. The healthier your immune system is, the better you are at handling stress, stressors, external stressors, internal stressors, all these stressors. And so make that a priority, whatever that is for you. Exercise. The studies show, I mean, it can help with body composition. Doesn't necessarily make you lose a lot of weight. That's more calories, but exercise is great for those positive neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, all endorphins, all those things that you need to feel good. Pamper yourself, massage, acupuncture, whatever that might be. Those are all good things for the body. And look, again, same thing. We've heard it before. We know this is important, but now it's even more important.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think you're so busy, and I'm seeing this with dentists, working with them. They're not even paying attention to their health.
Sure. And they're not eating too. I remember my father, he just go through work, and you're not eating. I feel fine. I'm just going to work through it. Yeah. And your blood sugars are all over the place. You're dehydrated. And you're going to crash. And that's listen, just the other week, I want to disclose something. It's very interesting. It's funny how we were talking about mindset. We did this, the same thing with our members just a few weeks ago. About 3 days after that, funny enough, I got hit with fatigue. Like we had to postpone our interview, for 5 days. I had cankerous, which I get. And then followed by fatigue. I could I couldn't move much. I couldn't work out. I tried to work out. I couldn't breathe well. I'm like, oh, do I have COVID? My father got me a COVID test. I was negative. I'm like, what's going on? There could be a number of viral things that go on, but some stressor happened. There's a lot going on. I was also working out a lot, maybe overtraining, who knows? And I hit fatigue, and it was very hard to just stop. Yeah. But what helped me is just relax, take it easy. And I got better. So I'm not immune, and I work very hard on all these areas, but that's something there too.
Well, if you have to have a plan. I think you have to have goals when it comes to your health. You need to know what works for your plan. I think you need to have a system of when you're eating, when you're not eating. Like if you're a person who forgets, you need to schedule it. You can't just work through. And then I think the other thing, as far as team and physical and all these, is you got to have time to celebrate. We've worked really hard. And I think some doctors think, well, we're still behind on the year. We're not caught up.
That's a great point.
You've just worked so hard for the last quarter. You've been going. You need to celebrate. It can be something simple, but you need to have a celebration.
So I think celebration can fall under the final category, which is kind of spirit. And spirit doesn't mean religion. Spirit, it can mean it could mean religion for you, but it can mean anywhere from just positivity, excitement. You're right. Celebrations, gratitude, loving kindness, affirmations. I know you're a big fan of that. Being positive, relationships with people, even if it's Zoom or if it's in person, socially distancing or whatever it is to keep people safe. All those things are what spark why we do things what we do. What's the point of all this? Why are we, spending time with family is spiritual, right? Making sure that we're all working towards the goal. That what I say in a lot of things, I don't know if I heard this from, maybe it was Michael Gerber, but your business isn't that, you aren't there to serve your business. Your business is there to serve your life, not your life serves your business. Yep. You didn't get into dentistry to get a job. You got into dentistry to create a life. And your life is what you're living now, and making sure it's as good as you can make it. And even if it's sucky, even if it's terrible or it's tough at times, we're here together. You're not the only one. Well, and that's why I mentioned the fatigue thing, because listen, I'm preaching about it, but I got hit with it, and I don't think I'm particularly vulnerable to it. And I did. My vitamin D levels I did get blood work. My vitamin D levels were pretty low.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are indoors now.
Yep.
And it's not a bad idea to prophylactically take 1,000 to 4,000 micrograms, whatever, a month, get checked for vitamin D, get your blood work, because that, I think Fauci just said, it's protective. The studies are showing. So
yeah, I'm an A through D guy. So A, B, C, and D. I take all 4 of those. Love it. And then zinc. I skip the rest of the alphabet.
Zinc is good for you. Omega is potentially. So
Yep. And some fish oil. Yeah, that's the other thing. So I think if we're going to be exhausted at work, we need to have a way to refuel. And just think about what you're saying is there are 3 ways to really refuel your body, your mind, your spirit. You got to refuel in all those areas. Body, spirit. Yeah, I agree. I love starting my day off with, I guess, a combination of those things. I'm stretching when I first wake up. That's something I guess as I've gotten older, I have to do. And that's out of necessity, I do that. But while I'm stretching, that's my reminder. So my body's reminding me to stretch. And then the stretching reminds me to do my positive self-talk.
Yes.
And so talking about how we're going to be impactful that day, what I'm going to do, what's going to come my way, all of those things that and it's not on repeat. It's not a broken record. It's something, it has a variance to it every day. It's a little bit different. And it's so impressive that, maybe the day goes 3/4 of the way through and you feel like, man, I don't know if it's really happened. And then boom, something will come in and you're like, oh, we're hitting on all cylinders right now and we're making a difference with people. So absolutely. I love it.
Yep.
All right, great. So, and I would say this, a lot of the things that we've been talking about, you and I have had a chance to really talk about these things with either the mastermind group or the group coaching. And I got to say, I'm really enjoying both of those processes. So thanks for having those out there for all-star clients to be a part of. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those that are listening, I mean, I know a lot of our members are listening. I'll see you again at group coaching and certainly the Titanium members, but and just our general followers, we're going to keep, again, thank you to Eric. He's going to continue to create podcast content for you. I may do a few, I have a book project I'm working on with some of our Titanium groups. So we may have some occasional podcasts from me, but Eric is over the helm, and we're going to see some Larry Gazzardo, our head instructor, and our dentist. So, and let us know, like on Facebook, on YouTube, whatever. Let us know what are things you want us to talk about. I mean, Eric is, he's a tremendous coach. I always say to people, like, if I were to have, this is my kind of spiel. So if I have a coach who coached me, I would have Eric. I mean, he does, I love the mind. We're very alike, the mindset. He does great. He has different tactics than I do. I've been trying my affirmations. I hit or miss. It's not, but I admire, we all have different techniques to kind of get there. It's not one size fits all. Great coach, KPI coach, case acceptance. I mean, he does a lot of things really with DISC. We can talk about some DISC things, or you can talk about that in future things as well.
Yeah.
There's so many great stuff. Let us know in the comments of kind of what are things that you want, and we'll make it for
Absolutely.
you. Some platform. It's going to be a podcast. It's going to be a blog post. It's going to be an article. Who knows what it will be? But communicate. It's a community. And listen, yes, our members are so dear. Our mastermind members, certainly. But even those that are not members but followers of All Star, we're still here for you.
Yeah.
We have many great services, whether it's our membership, our online training program, and Eric and I, we just launched a beautiful program called Get Social, where we're managing Facebook accounts that Eric has been doing for, over 5, 6, 7 years, managing with great success, personalized service, following our customer service philosophy. And so that's been great. So definitely reach out to me or Eric, and you can learn about that. So we're just here to serve you in any way possible. And I think that's what we said from the beginning, is that I do have an incantation or affirmation. Before I speak to any dentist, I always say, and I can find it somewhere, but I said something to this effect that almost, making a plea or to myself that I act not in my best interest, but in the client's best interest. How do I serve them? That I eliminate greed and whatever, that my goal is there to serve. And if it means that it's something that they buy, great. If it means that it's nothing, it doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's about how can I be of service? And that feels good. And that satisfies those other elements, right? We were talking about today. And that's what you have to come from when you're, and I'm sure you teach us with case acceptance. You got to come from the right place. You certainly have to have a system. But at the end of the day, a lot of the dentists that are really happy and successful, that's the ultimate end of this whole thing, is what is success? And success, I think, has to do with your satisfaction and happiness. Look, I mean, if you're thrilled about working crazy and it doesn't affect the rest of your life, and that ain't important to you. I remember Tony Robbins in his seminars I would go to. I was one of his top coaches for many years. He would say, you need to be balanced. People say, no, you don't need to be balanced. You have to find your balance. You and I, Eric, value mind, body, spirit. That's important. Some people say, I don't need any of it. I love working. I don't need a family. I don't need nothing. That's you. If that's you, you got to be you, right? But don't let society and the pressures make you something that in your heart isn't you. You got to be you. And I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah. And what you're putting out is going to come back to you. I think that's what you're also referring to, Alex, which I love, the law of reciprocation. So put out to help people, and it's going to come back to you in the right way. So thank you guys so much for joining us and really just taking the time to invest in yourself. Now, go out there and be an all-star.